in the world beyond. Welcome back to Young Genius Sports. I'm your host, the Young Genius. Right now, talking about the James Harden Giannis beef that has been brewing for some seasons now. And it's now starting to come to the surface. People are starting to dig up the subtweets and the beef from interviews, the sub comments, the subtle jabs that they're having at each other. I mean, this is a real beef. I don't know why people are talking about this is old school or whatever. This is really new age basketball. This is social media beef. Beefs has been going on throughout the entire history of the league. This is not really an old school thing. It's just a basketball thing. You can go to the Y, you can go to the park, and there's going to be beefs there. There's going to be rivalry. You know, people are not going to like each other. It's going to be trash talk. So I don't know why people are trying to make this seem like this is some old school basketball type of thing where beefs and non-friendliness is something new or something fresh that just disappeared from the game. And they're trying to act like people weren't friends back in the day. Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson were great friends. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, were great friends as well. Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas, great friends. So I don't really get all this hoopla about this is a new age of basketball and all this stuff and it's softer now. I mean, the contact is about the same. People aren't getting slammed to the ground and punched in the face and doing all that stuff. I don't think that was better for the game. I don't think that made basketball more appealing to watch. The actual game of basketball, but I could see the entertainment factors of a fight during the game or whatnot. But let's hear what James Harden's response to Giannis was after Giannis said he didn't want James Harden on his team.
On the air about I want to take someone who can pass. I'm taking Kemba Walker instead of James Harden.
I average more assists than him, I think. I don't see what the joke is. But I didn't even see it. I don't pay attention to stuff like that.
I don't really get that joke either. James Harden has religiously averaged more assists, not just than Kemba Walker, but than Giannis Antetokounmpo. James Harden has led the league in assists. James Harden has had the most points responsible for it in a season, almost a record amount of points and assists for his team. So I don't really get that I want somebody who can pass the ball, so I'm going to get Kemba Walker when James Harden is clearly the better passer and better talent. This was clearly a jab and a sign of disrespect Giannis had towards James Harden. Was it because of the MVP comments about the media narrative giving Giannis the MVP really before the season? Yes, it was. And honestly, it's kind of true. Giannis won the MVP where I personally think James Harden should have won it that year. If not, we could give it to LeBron because he deserves it every year.
I just know none of them can mess with me. But I wish I could just run and with 7 feet and run and just dunk. Like that takes no skill at all. I got to actually learn how to play basketball and how to have skill, I take that any day.
So basically Harden was like, you made a joke? Because I don't find it funny.
He said he didn't see the joke. I think he saw it.
I feel like he probably heard or saw the joke. But, okay, Stephen A., like it, love it, hate it, Harden going back at Giannis.
I love it. I don't have a problem with it because Harden can ball, and he's earned the right to address somebody that definitely attacked him. And I totally agreed with his response to Rachel Nichols when he said, I didn't see the joke. I looked at Giannis Antetokounmpo's face. He wasn't laughing. He wasn't smirking. He wasn't joking. He meant it.
Well, when Giannis did say that, he actually was laughing. He actually did smirk a little bit. It did kind of come off as a joke, but it wasn't a joke. It was it was real. He real life did not pick James Harden, and he real life does have a beef with James Harden. As you can see in the All-Star game, he tried to go at James Harden at the end of the game, saying whoever James Harden was guarding, we tried to go at him, but James Harden stood his ground in the All-Star game, and that's why James Harden's team won.
Exactly what the hell he said. And so when you James Harden and you're a superstar player in this league, fresh off of averaging 36 a game, averaging 35 right now, clearly considered one of the greatest one-on-one players in the history of basketball, and you put up the numbers that he's been putting up, the Greek Freak is legit. He's real. He's authentic. We get all of that. He's no champion. He's no champion yet. He hasn't advanced any further than James Harden yet. So James Harden is sitting there going like this, wait a minute now. I've been here. I've been doing this. I appreciate the fact that you come onto the scene, but respect your brother here. Because I'm no scrub. I am a superstar on this team. And I don't have a problem with James Harden saying it at all.
Yeah, I agree with Stephen A. here. Giannis is really no better than James Harden in my eyes. I can see the defense, the impact he has on the defensive end. I can see that he's 7 foot and, you know, he can handle the ball. He can get to the rim whenever he wants to. But as we saw, just the same way as we saw when James Harden's in the playoffs, same reason we saw with Giannis in the playoffs. Same thing we saw with LeBron before he got to Miami in the playoffs. When you're just by yourself and you don't have that baseline game and you don't attack the defense from the baseline and from the wing, kind of like what Kobe was talking about, which is one reason why the triangle is so successful, is because you attack defenses from more than one angle. You attack defenses from the baseline, from the post, from the wing. If you just go head on from a defense from the top of the key, people can key in on you and funnel you to bigs and make you shoot tough twos. And you don't win in the playoffs like that when the game is slowed down and a little bit more contact is allowed. We saw that last year with Giannis. We see that every year with James Harden. We saw that with LeBron. We saw that with Kobe when he was by himself, when Shaq left. I mean, if you don't attack defenses when the game slows down from more than one angle, when you just attack it from the top of the key, it does not work. So Giannis and James Harden, they both don't show up in the playoffs. They show up to an extent, but they don't, ultimately get the job done. Even though one year, I'd say James Harden could have got it done when Chris Paul was there, but when Chris Paul went out, it was just too easy to key in on Harden. So we'll see this year with the small ball, and they got Westbrook, who attacks from the wing. He can get into the post a little bit. So we'll see what happens with the Rockets in their small ball in the playoffs. But I don't think they will ultimately win, because I don't think they would beat the Bucks or the Lakers in the final, or the Clippers or the Sixers. Too big and too talented and too athletic for the Rockets.
I do. I mean, he can say it if he wants, but Harden's being a little sensitive. He's being sensitive. And look, Giannis is the reigning MVP. Giannis is about to win MVP again. Same league as Harden.
So
Harden's
James is
balling
an
out of
MVP.
control.
James is an MVP.
Yeah, he is. But so is Giannis. And Giannis
he
is
could
the
have been a
reigning
two-time
MVP.
MVP. Should have been.
Facts, Stephen
I
A.
disagree, but Giannis is the reigning and defending and about to be repeat MVP of the league, right in the middle of James Harden's prime. They're both great. Giannis a little better. That's why he's winning the award. And so Harden's a little sensitive, but let me tell you the real reason I believe Harden's sensitive. When he says, well, I'd love to be 7 feet, that doesn't take skill to do what he does. That's true. James Harden has to be much more skillful than Giannis because he...
I don't think today is Max Kellerman's day. I usually think, that's kind of disrespectful when Stephen A. says he should have his basketball card taken away. But he beat himself in this debate, talking about Giannis is an MVP too. Yes, the key word is two. James Harden is also an MVP. I don't care if it was last year or the year before. James Harden is still an MVP in this league. So when you say Giannis can say this just because he's an MVP and James Harden's being sensitive, James Harden's not being sensitive. James Harden is retaliating. I mean, he did kind of start it with the Giannis MVP. I don't think he really deserved it over me, but that's how he truly feels. So I can't take away anything about it. I mean, the numbers Harden was putting up was historic. So when he says things like that, I don't really blame him for it. You could give it to Harden. You can give it to LeBron. You can give it to Curry, KD. There's a lot of MVP caliber players in the league. So Harden being mad about not winning it doesn't really affect me. It doesn't really make me mad. Doesn't really make me feel any type of way. Doesn't make me feel disappointed in Harden's comments. And you expect that from a competitor. You don't ever want to lose anything, whether it's a game, an award, anything. You don't want to lose to one of your opponents.
He's not as tall or as athletic as Giannis, so he has to be more skillful. Here's the bottom line. Why isn't Harden getting more respect? Because when you look at the regular season numbers, even in this scoring era, even with his usage rate, even on a D'Antoni team, all those things are true, and he's still putting up absurd cartoon numbers. He doesn't have more respect because when it's mattered most, he's choked. I mean, let's just say what it is. If he was a champion
there?
If he was a champion, get.
Max, not you, bro. Not you. Not the dude that called Giannis the greatest in the world on a Thursday, and by that Monday he was barely top 5 because he got smoked in 2 games against Kawhi.
Yep.
That same Greek freak that you're just talking about. Yes, I'm sorry. That same Greek freak that you just talked about. Okay, you were saying you acknowledged that he didn't produce
100%.
when it counted.
That's right.
So how come you're not holding that against him?
That's one time since he's entered his prime where you say, boy, Giannis, he had a good series until then, a good postseason until then.
That's not one time since he's entered his prime. Unless you're counting his prime as his only MVP season. I mean, Giannis hasn't won a championship. Giannis has been a 4-time All-Star. So I'd say he's entered his prime for about 4 or 5 years now. Giannis hasn't won a championship. Giannis has only been to the Eastern Conference Finals once. James Harden has been multiple times. So, what are you saying here, Max Kellerman? I think this debate is clearly Stephen A. Won this debate because, Max Kellerman beat himself. That's all I want to talk about on this topic. Thanks for tuning in to Young Genius Sports First Take Reactions. I'm your host, the Young Genius. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like, comment, share. Follow us on Snapchat at Young1G Genius 1S Sports. And follow us on Instagram at Young Genius Sports. Thank you.